Hey, what's up, people? So we're gonna talk about something that's near and dear to my heart, something that you guys care about, something that makes you fucking disappointed. With great emphasis on the disappointment, and that is boxing fucking sucks. Like I don't know who wants to admit it. Most of you guys are not gonna admit it because you fucking are fanboys, or you're just dumb, or you don't pay attention to combat sports all that much. But those of you who actually watch and you watch my channel, and you understand fighting. You can tell boxing is terrible. There's no point in having boxing anymore. Just let the YouTubers come out because at least they're more active, and they do matches that we want to watch. See, one of the things that fucking disappoints me so much about boxing is that we never get the fights we actually want. The fights that we actually want don't get to fucking happen in boxing. You know why? Because boxing has no architecture. There's no competitive fucking reason for why it exists. It's just guys prize fighting, and these guys are so stupid, and they listen to their stupid managers who tell them to do stupid shit that makes the fans not want to watch even more. And by the time they do want to fucking fight, it's already after a stupid long period of time where the fight's already fucking past the age of prime. Prime example, Mayweather or Pacquiao. We were clamoring for Mayweather or Pacquiao for damn near 5 or 6 years. This is a half a decade, people. A half a fucking decade, if not longer. These guys should have probably fought 4 or 5 times, and we would have watched every time. But you know what? Everybody's scared to lose a fucking O. Everybody's falling for the marketing of the fucking O, and because of that, we now have the situation where Terrence Crawford is not going to fight David Haney. And we've been waiting for this for how long? Terrence Crawford's almost past his prime. The man's like 35, I believe. Let me check. Terrence Crawford. How old is this man? This man born 1987, so he's damn near 35. Yeah, I was correct. 35 years old. This is a 35-year-old man, which means he's long past his prime. Oh, that was Errol Spence. My apologies, not David Haney. So we got a 35 and a 33-year-old who have been at the top of boxing for damn near a decade almost, and they are yet to fight each other, but yet both claim to be lightweight champions. How are they both champions? Like, this is the most retarded thing in boxing. There are multiple champions per weight division. Why? Why is there not just one champion in the weight division? Why do we have 4 different champions in one weight division? And why are the weight divisions 3 pounds apiece? Like, explain that to me. Look, lightweight. This is what I'm telling you. The whole structure of boxing is the most retarded thing I've ever seen. Like, it's insane to me. 135 pounds. And then welterweight, 147 pounds. 10 pounds difference. Light welterweight, 132. So what the fuck is the difference? 132, 135, 147. I'm pretty sure he has another champion in between there somewhere. Junior lightweight. It's so fucking stupid. All of it. Like, why is there 4 different? Why is there 3 weight classes in a 10-pound span? And see, this is why boxing fails, and this is why boxing is a dead sport, and why boxing is not going to exist in probably 10 or 15 years. And if it does exist, it's just going to be like what's it called? It's just going to be like YouTubers and famous people fighting, because these guys are not famous. Like, people think they're famous, but they're not famous. The only people who know, the only people, if you walk down the street and saw Terrance Crawford, you would not know who that guy is. You would not recognize him. You would just look and say, okay, there's a black guy that looks kind of ripped. Maybe he runs. And that's what I'm saying. Boxers don't have star power. We get sold this shit like, oh man, there's a big fight. Terrence Crawford's fighting. And we're like, okay, well, who's Terrence Crawford? Well, he's from Nebraska, Omaha. And that's really the most important. That's really like the only marketing point for us, is that he fights in Omaha. That's his fucking thing. And boxers are so fucking stupid and so unfucking remarkable and uncreative that's really their only selling points. I trained hard and I'm from Omaha. Same thing with Tank Davis. I trained hard, I got cash, and I'm from Baltimore. That's it. Even Canelo. When you think about Canelo, Canelo's supposed to be the pound for pound star of boxing, the pound for pound fighter. He's the guy who's supposed to be the greatest fucking guy in boxing currently. And you know what he's famous for? You know why Canelo's the number one pound for pound fighter and the most paid fighter? Do you know why? Because he's the most memorable guy that lost to Floyd Mayweather. That's his claim to fame. That's why we fucking worship Canelo, because he's Mexican, he's redheaded, and he lost to Floyd. And when Floyd left, he didn't get beat by anybody, so essentially Floyd just left a vacuum in the fucking boxing game. And some of you guys might be saying, well, what about the heavyweights? What about the heavyweights? Only guy we got is Tyson Fury. And the only thing that Tyson Fury gives us, which is he talks very well, but he has cleaned out the division because the division is so bad and he has no other marketable stars to fight. The only thing he has to give us that is worth outside of his fucking punching people in the faces, him getting high on cocaine and almost killing himself. That's his claim to fame. He beat Klitschko. He got high on cocaine, almost killed himself, came back as a fat boy, knocked out Deontay Wilder twice. Actually, three times. I apologize. He beat the fuck out of Deontay Wilder 3 times. Why is Deontay Wilder famous? Because he has a right hand, he knocks people out, and he yells bomb squad. That's why he's famous. Why is it like will you really stop and think, like, why is Andy Ruiz famous? Because he beat up this Britain guy who's big and buff and looks like a model. Like the whole boxing marketing model it doesn't exist. It's not real. They just throw those guys out there we fucking watch. And most of us don't even watch. Most of us don't even care. Boxing is being carried by other nations. In America, boxing is a fucking dead sport. You know why it's a dead sport? Because there's no white guys. There's no white guys in boxing anymore. All the white guys are gone. They realize, holy shit, I'm tired of fighting niggas all day. This is too hard on the body. Fuck that. Fuck that. I'm not doing that shit. And so now you got nothing but niggas rolling the fucking sport. And niggas don't even want to fight each other. Terrance Crawford and David Haney have not fought each other. Why? They're not David Haney, but Terrance Crawford and Spencer Crawford, whatever his name is fucking. I don't even give a fuck. Because they're useless names. They don't even matter. I don't even care anymore to even pay attention to boxing. I wish I could care. There was a time and period and place where I cared about boxing. And boxing has just fucking fucked me at every angle. Every goddamn angle. I used to think boxing was the greatest art from the Mike Tyson days. I'm not that old, but I remember growing up, people tell me like, oh, Hagler and Hearn, fucking Sugar Ray, Robert Duran, Mike Tyson, all these fucking, they told me about all these great fights and shit that happened. And then I come into my age, and you know what I get to see? I see Mayweather beat up fucking Oscar De La Hoya. I was like, wow, this is really cool. And then he proceeded to fight nobody for the next fucking decade until he fought Pacquiao 6 years late. The greatest thing that happened in boxing was Mayweather and fucking McGregor and Jake Paul. That's the greatest thing that happened to boxing in the last fucking decade. If not for those two fights, but not for Jake Paul coming back into boxing, and not for McGregor fighting Mayweather, I would not be paying attention to the sport. I would not care. And I really, at this point, I don't care anymore because boxing doesn't care. Boxing puts on these terrible fights and they force us to watch because there's nothing else to fucking watch. And that's the beauty of fucking live entertainment. Live entertainment is so strong that we will watch simply because we don't know what's going to happen and we can't binge it and we have to watch it at that time because once the fight has already occurred, it no longer matters. Like once it gets into the annals of time, like you get to watch that period of the fight and the magic happen as it's happening. But as soon as it's done, nobody gives a shit. It's over. It's like you gotta get like an entertainment session, all that stuff. The press conference, which they're fucking terrible in the press conferences too. None of these guys know how to talk. None of these guys know how to set up their next fight. All they do is talk about how great they were. Dude, listen, fighting has 3 phases to it. And Chael Sonnen mentions this perfectly. Fighting has 3 phases. There's picking a fight, which is how you position yourself to get fights that pay you money. There is promoting a fight, which is a totally different aspect, which is now is let me create a storyline so this person wants to fucking fight me. Let me build it up until we go into the fight so people are emotionally invested to watch this fight. And then there's after the fight, which now, whether win, lose, or draw, I now have my next opponent lined up so I can go to work in another 3 months or 6 months, however long these fucking boxer guys take the fucking fight because they fight twice a year. like it's some spectacular fucking event. Oh yeah, we get to watch some guy fucking punch another guy with gloves twice a year.